Good morning. Welcome to Friday. I want to share a little bit about James Orange this morning. James said, I was a year out of high school and I had met a beautiful young woman who sang in the choir on Monday nights at the mass meetings at the 16th Street Baptist Church. We were going to meet afterwards and go have a soda and talk. But when he arrived at the church, it was jam-packed. It was a standing room only crowd. So he saw two benches down way in the front, and he wasn't ever one to hesitate. He walked up and sat down, and he listened to Ralph Abernathy's sermon. And the longer I listened, the more intently I listened, I became absorbed in his message. It was 1962, and the movement was determined to break segregation in Birmingham, the city of Sheriff Bull Connor and his police dogs. After the services, the Reverend Edward Gardner, a leader of the Alabama Improvement Association that was leading the campaign, asked people to come forward. As they moved toward the front of the church, the audience stood and applauded. And that's when I realized those empty benches had been reserved for people who had volunteered to go to jail, if necessary, in the fight against Jim Crow. But there was no turning back. I was already up front. I couldn't walk away. And a few moments later, I found myself together with all those who had come forward in the church basement. And although I didn't know it yet, at that point, the trip downstairs changed my life together. After all the people took their seats and quieted down, the Reverend James Bevel, director of Direct Action for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, began telling the group, many who were in college or high school, how they were going to behave if they were confronted by police or arrested, and never a shrinking violent. After asked who's going to get arrested, Orange said, "We are." And Bevel said, "You are." James Bevel was right in the middle of a couple of different important events, one of which was right up to leading up to the march in Selma, the killing by the police of Jimmy Lee Jackson, trying to protect his grandmother and, was it his mother? Yes, was fatally shot. That led to the outrage that ultimately led to the Selma March. James Orange was in jail at that time, and everyone was worried that he would be lynched. So in 1967, he became Reverend Orange. He was ordained as a Baptist minister, and his work on rights expanded to working with maids and hotel workers in Houston. He worked with Cesar Chavez, and he was quite a man. Andrew Young described him as one of the real foot soldiers of the movement, a gentle giant. But I just love how he was drawn into that service initially by meeting a girl and wanting to have a soda after a church meeting where she sang in the choir. What a lovely beginning, and what a wonderful man, and someone we celebrate this Black History Month. And with that, I hope we all have grateful days. Maybe you'll find somebody to go have a soda later. Bye.